were particularly pronounced among boys, with a 35% increased risk of autism if their mother's contractions were both induced and sped up, or what doctors call augmented. Joining me now is Associate Professor Simon Gregory from Duke University School of Medicine, who did this study. Simon, these findings are going to terrify a lot of concerned parents and parents-to-be. How big a risk are we talking about here?
Hey, Jake. So the type of risk that we're looking at is in the realms of, say, a mother who decides to have children at an older age, a mother who's got potentially got birth complications or complications that the unborn child experiences in the uterus. So we're talking about, say, elevated risk of 30-odd%, as you said.
But that's not an elevated risk from all pregnant women who would induce or augment labor? It's just for ones who are in high-risk groups?
No, what we found is from our birth cohort, so Murray Lynn Miranda at the University of Michigan's birth cohort that we looked at, we took 655,000 live births in North Carolina and then married them to educational records. And so what we're able to do is identify from that set the children who had autism and then the children whose mothers were induced or augmented. And I think it's important to remember that here we're looking at an association. We're not necessarily looking at a cause and effect type relationship. So it could be the circumstances that dictated the use of drugs to induce or augment the birth itself, or the maternal or the child factors that have required the induction or augmentation.
Okay, so just to be clear for our viewers, the takeaway is not that doctors should stop inducing labor necessarily, but is there a takeaway that you see? Would, for instance, would you recommend against a mother, a pregnant woman, having her pregnancy induced or augmented if she were in these high-risk groups? No?
Absolutely not. The point of the study is really to find if there is an association. The potential negative effects from not inducing or augmenting a labor far outweigh the risks that we've identified. The healthcare professionals will recommend or indicate induction or augmentation for specific medical reasons, and those reasons are really important. What we've found is sort of an elevated risk in the induced and augmented mothers, and as you said, in boys, which is interesting for us because autism affects more males than females. But what we really need to do is work out where the association's coming from. What is the cause of this association? And we're absolutely not recommending that where it's medically indicated that a woman decides against induction or augmentation.
So we've done a number of stories about studies about possible links to what causes this disorder. A few months ago, we talked to somebody who talked about possible environmental factors. Where does your paper rank with other risk factors that doctors have concluded, whether it's environment or older mothers or certain types of drugs? Where do you think this ranks?
I think we have to put it in the context that autism is a spectrum of disorders. It's no one particular disorder. Kids with autism can have a very broad range of display of the disorder itself. And as you cited, the development of autism is really based on genetic predisposition, the genes we inherit from our parents, but also the environment that we're exposed to. In this instance, we're talking about an in utero exposure potentially with the induction or augmentation, but potentially as well, it's the maternal health or the health